Hey there, Stellar Guy fans! Welcome back to another hilarious and heartwarming episode recap of the hit TV show Reba. Today, we're diving deep into an episode packed with laughs, football traditions, and classic Reba-style chaos. We'll be covering the episode titled, The Stakes Are High. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a detailed breakdown of the wild events that unfold when Reba takes on the challenge of hosting a high school football team's steak dinner. Let's get right into it. The episode kicks off early in the morning, at the crack of dawn to be precise. In Van's room, we hear the sound of tape ripping and muffled cries. Suddenly, Van is tied up and being kidnapped by two enthusiastic cheerleaders, Marcy and Luann, who break into the house as part of a football tradition for the Player of the Week. This tradition, known as the kidnap breakfast, involves waking the star player up at 5 a.m. and force-feeding them a greasy breakfast. Cheyenne, still battling her morning sickness from her pregnancy, watches in disbelief as the drill team members wrap up Van and deliver him a breakfast of scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, and salsa. The thought of the greasy meal sends Cheyenne's stomach into knots, but Van, ever the enthusiastic football player, is thrilled by the attention. He revels in the excitement, reminding everyone that this is part of the high school football tradition. Reba walks into the room, clearly confused about the commotion. When she learns that Coach Hart gave the drill team a key to her house, she is furious, immediately declaring that Coach Hart will no longer have access to her home. In typical Reba fashion, she's both amused and slightly annoyed by the early morning chaos, but she brushes it off as part of the craziness that comes with high school football culture. Cheyenne, feeling left out because she's no longer part of the drill team due to her pregnancy, laments the fact that she couldn't be the one cheering Van on during this ritual. Despite feeling sick, she wants to be there for Van, but realizes that her priorities have shifted now that she's expecting. Later that day, Van approaches Reba with a major request. Since he's been named Player of the Week, it's tradition for his parents to throw a pre-game steak dinner for the entire football team. There's just one problem. Van's relationship with his parents has been rocky ever since he married Cheyenne and moved in with Reba's family. As a result, Van doesn't have anyone to host the dinner, and he turns to Reba for help. At first, Reba is resistant to the idea of hosting a dinner for 60 hungry teenage boys. Who wouldn't be, right? But Van, being the sweet-talking charmer that he is, pleads his case and Cheyenne joins in, encouraging her mom to say yes. After some hesitation, Reba gives in and agrees to host the steak dinner. After all, Van is part of the family now, and despite the overwhelming task ahead, Reba wants to support him. Van's joy is palpable. He excitedly thanks Reba, calling her the best and hugging her tightly. Cheyenne, relieved that her mom has agreed to help, is also thrilled that Van will get his moment to shine. Reba, however, knows she's got her work cut out for her. Hosting a steak dinner for an entire football team isn't going to be easy, but she's determined to make it happen. Just when Reba thinks she has a handle on things, Brock and Barbara Jean show up with some unexpected help. They arrive with a massive book in hand, titled The Westchester Wildcat Per Game Steak Dinner Bible. This oversized binder is filled with rules and traditions that must be followed to the letter in order to ensure the team's success on the field. The Bible includes everything from seating arrangements to grilling instructions, and even dictates which direction the players must face while eating, offensive players to the east and defensive players to the west. Brock, who's still heavily involved in the Westchester High football scene, tries to convince Reba to let Barbara Jean take over the dinner preparations. He insists that Barbara Jean thrives on this sort of thing and would be the perfect person to handle the elaborate details. But Reba, being the fiercely independent woman she is, refuses to let Barbara Jean take over. She promised Van she'd handle the dinner, and that's exactly what she plans to do. Despite her reservations about the steak dinner Bible, Reba is determined to follow the rules and make the event a success. She's not about to let Brock or Barbara Jean outshine her in front of Van and Cheyenne. After all, Reba's always been a master at balancing family life, and this dinner will be no different. At least, that's what she hopes. As the day of the steak dinner approaches, Reba throws herself into the preparations. The list of tasks is long and daunting, but she's determined to get everything right. She shucks corn by hand, brands each steak with the players' jersey numbers, and even sweetens the iced tea with molasses, as the tradition dictates. Cheyenne watches from the sidelines, feeling a mix of nostalgia and guilt. She used to be heavily involved in these football traditions when she was on the drill team, but now that she's pregnant, she feels like an outsider. However, seeing how hard her mom is working to make the dinner a success makes Cheyenne realize just how much effort goes into supporting the football team, and she begins to appreciate the sacrifices Reba is making for Van. Meanwhile, Barbara Jean continues to hover, offering her help at every turn. Reba, however, politely declines Barbara Jean's offers, determined to handle the dinner on her own terms. The tension between the two women is palpable, but Reba stays focused on the task at hand, knowing that Van is counting on her. The day of the steak dinner finally arrives, and Reba is a bundle of nerves. The football team, led by Coach Harrell, arrives at the house, ready to feast. Reba greets the players with a smile, and despite her initial reservations, she's proud of how everything has come together. Coach Harrell is impressed by Reba's efforts, complimenting her on the setup. The football team follows tradition by kissing the hostess, much to Reba's amusement. The players are thrilled with the meal, and everything seems to be going off without a hitch. Cheyenne, feeling a surge of energy and excitement, decides to rejoin her old cheerleading friends, Marcy and Luann, for the game. She puts on her old Pipette spirit and joins in the cheers, reliving the glory days of her high school years. For a brief moment, it feels like everything is back to normal. But, as with any great comedy, disaster strikes just when everything seems perfect. Barbara Jean suddenly realizes that the potato salad isn't from the right store. Instead of Ed's famous potato salad, Reba accidentally bought a different brand, Gerland's potato salad. This may not seem like a big deal to most people, but for the Westchester Wildcats, it's a catastrophe. According to tradition, only Ed's famous potato salad can be served at the pregame dinner. Barbara Jean freaks out, convinced that the team is doomed to lose the game because of this mistake. In true Barbara Jean fashion, she blows the issue out of proportion, causing a minor panic among the football players. The news of the potato salad crisis spreads quickly, and the team starts to lose morale. The players, who are notoriously superstitious, begin to believe that they're cursed and that the game is already lost. Reba tries to calm everyone down, but the damage is done. The players head into the game with low spirits, convinced that they've lost their edge because of the wrong potato salad. Reba is frustrated, knowing that something as trivial as a side dish shouldn't affect the team's performance. But she can't shake the feeling that she's somehow responsible for their poor morale. Determined to turn things around, Reba delivers an impassioned speech to the football team. She reminds them that football isn't about what you eat before the game. It's about heart, determination, and teamwork. The reason the Wildcats are so successful has nothing to do with potato salad. It's because they work hard and play with passion. Van, realizing how much this means to Reba and Cheyenne, steps up to support his team. He gives an emotional speech, taking responsibility for the mistake and urging his teammates to focus on the game, not the food. Van's speech, combined with Reba's pep talk, helps to lift the team's spirits, and they head back onto the field with renewed energy. In a dramatic turn of events, the Wildcats make a stunning comeback in the second half of the game. The players rally together, and with Van leading the charge, they score several touchdowns, turning the tide in their favor. The game is intense, but in the end, the Wildcats emerge victorious, much to the delight of the team and the fans. Reba, watching from the sidelines, feels a sense of pride and relief. Despite the chaos of the steak dinner and the potato salad fiasco, everything worked out in the end. The Wildcats won the game, and Van had his moment of glory as the player of the week. After the game, the team celebrates their victory, and Reba is hailed as a hero for hosting the steak dinner. Even Barbara Jean, who had been panicking about the potato salad, admits that Reba did an incredible job. The two women share a rare moment of camaraderie, joking about the absurdity of the whole situation. Van and Cheyenne, meanwhile, reflect on the day's events. They realize that while football traditions are important, what matters most is the support they have from their family. Cheyenne, in particular, feels a renewed sense of connection to her old life, but she also understands that her priorities have shifted now that she's expecting a baby. And that wraps up the wild and hilarious episode of Reba titled, "The Stakes Are High." From football traditions to potato salad crises, this episode is packed with laughs and heartfelt moments. We hope you enjoyed this detailed breakdown and storytelling summary of the episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode recap here on Stellar Guy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for more exciting content.